into math, lesson 2.3, estimate with two-digit divisors. I can estimate quotients of division problems using compatible numbers. Spark your learning. One of Florida's tallest buildings is 900 Biscayne Bay. It stands 650 feet tall. The building has 63 floors. If each floor is approximately the same height, about how tall is one floor at that building? Okay, so we are going to estimate. Okay, what could we estimate? We could either do what? So we always look at the divisor first. So what's our original problem? So we have 650, 63, and they want to know about how tall that building is. Okay, or one floor is. So our original problem would be 650 divided by 63. Okay, and it's always usually easiest to look at the divisor to get your estimations. Okay, so what could we estimate 63 to? Okay, we can either do 60 or 65. In this case, what do you guys think would work the best? 65, right? Because of 650. So we're gonna put 65 here and then draw our box like we did the other day and do partial product. Okay, so what can we do here? So you could technically just do 650, right? Okay. If we did that, that would just be 65 goes into 65 once, and 65 goes into 0 times, right? So it would be about what? 10 feet, right? Is about our estimate. Okay. Now we could have also done 60 and 600, right? Okay. So learning to understanding number one, the icon for Gale Tower in Miami is 586 feet tall and has about 60 floors. About how many feet high is each floor? Okay, so number, and then about tells us that we need what? An estimation, right? So our original equation would be
786 divided by 60.
Okay. Does this problem require you to find an exact quotient? No, they want an estimate because they use the word about. What is true about dividends that are compatible with the divisor of 60? So what's true about them? That they have to be, if they're a divisor of 60, then you want a multiple of 60. What two multiples of 60 are closest to 586? So basically, we're going to look at the ones and the tens, right? I mean the tens, sorry. So 6 goes into, what's a multiple of 6 that gets us close to 58 without going over? I said a multiple, you're telling me a factor. 54. Okay, so 540, right? Okay. And then what's a multiple of 6 that gets me close to 58 and goes just a little bit over? 600. Okay, so we have a low multiple and we have a high multiple. What are our two estimates? So if we took 540 divided by 60, we would get what?
90.
Not 90, 9, because you mark off the zeros, right? Mark off the zeros, and you're taking 6 into 54. Okay, so that's our low estimate, and we need to put the word about with it. And then we would do 600 divided by 60, mark off our zeros. 6 into 60 is about 10. So previously, you have used mental math to compute and estimate products and quotients. Compatible numbers are numbers that are easy to compute with mentally. So is that what we use with compatible numbers with letter D? Yes. Okay. How does each estimate compare to the actual quotient? So once again, we said we got a low estimate and a high estimate. Okay, which one would probably have been better to use? The about 9 or about 10? About 10. So using the higher estimate would have been the better one to use, right? Because it would probably be a little closer. So we just answered letter G, right? And then so the high estimate. About how many feet high is each floor? So about 10 feet. Step it out. Number 2. Kadeen needs to travel to Florida for his job. The cost of the trip for 28 days is $2,475. About how much will this trip cost Kadeen each day? Follow the problem with an equation. Are you asked to find an estimate or actual answer? So we have 28 days, $2,475. About how much will the trip cost each day? So what are we going to do? 2,475 divided by 28. And then are we doing an estimate or an exact answer? Estimate, because they use the word about. Sometimes you might have to change both the dividend and the divisor to make numbers that are compatible. What might you change 28 to? 30. Based on your answer, to what numbers might you change 2,475 to find two different estimates? So we're going to look at the front end of that, the first two numbers, right? Okay, so we're looking right here. So what is a multiple of 3 that gets us close to 24 without going over? So this is our low end. You can use 24 because it's 2,400, still less than 2,475. Yes, so we can use 2,400. Or what's a multiple of 3 that gets you just a little bit over? 27. So then you would do 2,700. Now, why would I not just leave it as 24 or 27? Because they want in thousands, right? Okay. So how did we choose our numbers? Because both of those are multiples of 30, right? Okay. Both of those are multiples of 30. You think it's that pattern to estimate the quotient. So what they basically want you to do is where you do like 24 divided by 3 gets you 8 and so on. We're just going to put it like this. So 2,400 divided by 30. Okay. Mark off a 0. Mark off a 0. Put 24 in the box. 24 divided by 3 is 8 and add 1 0. So $80, right? Okay, this is our low and this is our high. So 2,700 divided by 30. What do I do? Mark off the 0, put 27 in the box. So 27 divided by 3 is 9 and add 1 0. So now the only thing is we have a low and a high. When you're dealing with money, do you want to go and not have enough? You better have too much, right? Okay, than too little. So would it be better in this case to go with the low estimate or the high estimate? The high estimate. So, and then you use the word about because it's an estimate, right? About $90 each day. Check understanding number 1. Every year, individuals race to the top of the U.S. State Tower in Los Angeles. The tower has 1,679 steps. A racer reaches the top in 16 minutes. About how many steps does the racer complete in 1 minute? So our numbers are 1,679 steps, 16 minutes, and we're looking for about how many steps does the racer complete in 1 minute. So once again, like I told you guys, we're going to do a low and we're going to do a high. And to determine our numbers, we start with the divisor, right? So 16, what am I going to go to with that? Okay, so I can do 20, right? Now, could I also do 15? So, but let's go ahead and go with 20 because that's kind of a little bit easier number to compute, right? Okay, so 20. So what is a multiple of 2 that gets me close to 16 without going over 16, right? So I can use 1,600, right? Is that still less than 1,679?
Yes.
Okay, what's a multiple of 2 that gets me close to 16? That goes just a little bit over 18. So 1,800. Okay, what do I put in the box? 16. Mark off a 0, mark off a 0. 2 into 16, 8, and add 1, 0. What do I put in a box? 18. Mark off a 0, mark off a 0. 2 into 18 is, and add a, so about 80 to 90 steps, right? Okay, we're going to finish recording this page and it runs out, the timer runs out before we're done. It still needs to be fully completed. On your own, number 2, there are 138 ounces of trail mix in a bag. You want to divide the trail mix equally among 18 smaller bags. What is a reasonable estimate for the number of ounces of trail mix that will go into each smaller bag? So 138 ounces, 18 smaller bags, and they want to know a reasonable estimate for how much trail mix will go into the smaller bags. So once again, we're going to do a low, we're going to do a high, and we start our estimate off with the what, guys? The divisor, right? So 18, what are we going to round that to? 20. What's a multiple of 2 that gets us close to 13 without going over 12, right? So 120, okay. What is the multiple of 2 that gets us a little bit over 13? 14. So in this case, we're doing 140, right? Okay. What do I put in my box? 12. Mark off a 0, mark off a 0. 12 divided by 2 is, okay. Next one, what do I put in a box? 14. Mark off a 0, mark off a 0. 14 divided by 2 is, okay. So which one is closer? The 120 or the 140? The 140. So we're going to go with the higher estimate. So about 7 what? Ounces. Number 3, construct arguments. Melinda needs to travel for work. A 21-day trip costs $3,750. She says that means the trip will cost about $200 per day. Is her estimate reasonable? Explain. Okay, so here's our numbers. And then we're trying to figure out if her answer is reasonable of the 200 days. So once again, I start with my what? I'm going to do a low and a high, right? What am I going to start with? The divisor. So 21, we're rounding to 20. Okay. And then what is a multiple of 30, of 2 that gets us closest to 37?
18.
No, you're calling me a factor. So 36. So 3,600. Now, sometimes that's a little high for us, right? Okay, so technically we could have just looked at the 3, right? And we could have went with 2,000 or 4,000, right? So let's go ahead and go that way, okay? If we wanted to be a little bit more precise, could we do what we just did though? Yes. Okay. So 2,000, what's a little bit high? 4,000. Okay, where I put it in my box? The 2, right? Mark off a 0, mark off a 0. So what is that? 2 goes into 2 one time, put 2 zeros. So $100. Put the 4 in a box, mark off a 0, mark off a 0. 2 into 4 is 2 and add 2